Welcome back to Cox Connections, a program that provides up-to-date information on events that affect you, our customers. In 2002, a committed group of local citizens came together to foster partnerships that would apply public and private resources to the challenge of reducing pollution in the Lynnhaven River. That core group formed the nucleus of what has grown into an award-winning river restoration project with over 8,000 members. Here to talk to us about Lynnhaven River NOW is Meredith Malone and Trista Imrich. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having us.
And what a great cause. Meredith, let me start with you. Why did you choose the Lynnhaven River as a project?
Well, the Lynnhaven watershed is actually any place that on the land, if rain hits it and falls in where it drains into, is if it drains into the Lynnhaven River, that's part of the watershed. The watershed encompasses an area where half the people, or more than half the people in Virginia Beach live. So it affects a lot of different people. It also is the home of the Lynnhaven oyster, which was really famous back in the first half of the 20th century, mostly because of its quality and size. And it steadily declined from that point until it was at a very low point in its population in the 70s, and people started realizing that it was going downhill, so they got together to form this group in order to clean up the water so more oysters could come live here again. And in 2002, when we started our group, it was only about 1% of the oysters in the Lynnhaven River were harvestable, whereas today 42% are.
So what is it that you're trying to do? Is it just contamination, or just what is it you're trying to accomplish here?
We have three main goals. One is to reduce the sources of contaminants in the river, such as boater discharge waste, pet waste, stormwater runoff from rain that goes down people's lawns and into their storm drains and then into the river. And then we also educate the public about how they can live their lives in ways that will protect the river through our Pearl Homes, Pearl Schools, and Pearl Faith Communities programs. And then we also restore lost habitats like saltwater marsh habitats through living shorelines that we ask people to try to do on their property, or they can create oyster castles to grow oyster reefs on their property. And we also do oyster reef sanctuaries where we use oyster shell from restaurants in the Virginia Beach area to recreate sanctuary oyster reefs in the river.
So, Meredith, you mentioned education. Trista, let me ask you that question. What are some of the things that we as residents of Hampton Roads, what could we do to be better educated and to do those things that are going to help you in these efforts?
I'm glad you asked. One of the best things and the easiest things that everyone can do is to go onto our website, lrnow.org, and either come to one of our events that are listed there or download directly from the site there a Pearl Home application. And on that application, it lists many things that homeowners can do, and if they can check off 15 items, then they actually qualify to be a Pearl Home. And they get one of our lovely garden flags to show everyone that they're working hard to be good stewards of our watershed. And some of those things specifically would be like being aware of what's going down the storm drain, which Meredith mentioned earlier. There are about 1,000 storm drains in our watershed, and 80% of those are completely untreated. So everything that runs off your yard, your chemicals and nutrients, anything from your car washing, is going directly to the water.
So, if I'm listening to this homeowner, I may not go anywhere near the river, but leaves and grease and all that stuff, anything that I'm doing around my house, it ends up in the river.
It goes directly there. And so whenever you see somebody blowing their leaves down, definitely tell them, one, it's illegal, but two, I mean, it's going straight there. And we actually have medallions.
Meredith mentioned pets.
Yes.
So what should we know, the pet owners, about how what they're doing or not doing impacts what goes on with the river?
And a big problem is the bacteria in the water, and 25% of that bacteria is coming from our pets. And so in the Lynnhaven watershed, there are 4,000 registered dogs. And each of those dogs is pooing 3/4 of a pound every day. So that's 3,000 pounds of poo.
I had never thought about it like that.
3,000 pounds every single day. So if that's not being picked up, that's a huge source of bacteria.
So the lesson here is that you may not do anything on the water, but everything that you're doing as a homeowner living here can impact what happens.
Absolutely. And in our watershed, that's a huge, huge impact. So much of who's living on the water is, it's all residential.
So we only have a couple of minutes left, but Trista, how can we get involved? Someone listening to this, what can they do to get involved in the Lynnhaven River NOW effort?
Sure. They can be on one of our committees. We have several with varying interests, landscaping practices, public policy, wetlands. So you can certainly check those out and get involved with that. We have monthly river cleanups the second Saturday of every month at various locations around the river. And you can go to our website and just
go to our website and stay informed.
Find an event.
Only 30 seconds left. There's some great things coming up that people may be interested in. Why don't you talk about those real quickly before we end? We have the Clean the Bay Day coming up.
Clean the Bay Day coming up in June, and that's one of our cleanups. We'll have 5 or 6 sites for that. We also have a Pearl Home backyard tour coming up, and lots of bike rides, Audubon bird walks. Lots of things to get people outside.
Stuff. Well, listen, I want to thank both of you, Meredith, Trista, for all you're doing to make sure that we continue to have a great place to live and work and do business and play. So thank you very much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having us.
And thanks for joining me on this episode of Cox Connections. As always, I want to personally thank you for choosing Cox Communications for your entertainment, information, and communication needs. We know you could have chosen another provider, but because you chose us, we pledge to be a friend you can trust. We promise to provide you with innovative products backed up by a talented local team of professionals that will help you stretch your dollar. And we promise to continue to make a difference in the Hampton Roads community. From all of your friends and neighbors here at Cox, we thank you again for joining us on this edition of Cox Connections.